2 minutes. Let me just, okay, I guess we'll put up the,
because everything's going according to time. I see everything's really on time.
okay, I'll put the, and let's see if this is going to be full screen. No,
No,
it's
it's not.
No, it's not. We'll try again. Okay, now. No, it's not. I don't know what's going on. Okay, never mind. Unshare. I can't seem to get that agenda up. Sorry. We'll start in 1 minute, and I am going just to unmute myself. 1 second. So here it is. Okay. Oh, somebody should. Thank you. Okay, then we will start in 1 moment. Okay. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the second junior high school session. We're going to hear 5 different presenters. We'll start with Gabrielle, then Rebecca, then David and Almogit. Each person will be and then Carol, sorry, Carol. Each person will be speaking approximately 5 minutes. And at the end of the session, please return to the main stage. I apologize for my sharing problems a minute ago. So Gabrielle will start at exactly soon, in just a minute. I don't know why it says 6:40 because we were supposed to start at 6:35. So
I can start whenever you want.
Yes. So please start. I'll tell you when. I'll put the timer on.
Oh, you're timing
and I'll tell
me.
you a minute before the end.
Okay.
When to start, so you can share screen.
Thank you.
And begin.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. It's an honor to be here. My name is Gabrielle Malach. I teach in Ulpanat Merkaz Shapira. I'm the coordinator there and also a read counselor. And in my short session, I'll be speaking about station rotation. So during these 5 minutes, I'm going to discuss the definition, why I teach this way. I'm going to show you an example which I have used in my class, and I will also give you some tips. Okay, so we're going to dive in with the definition. What is station rotation? So station rotation is a form of blended learning in which we alternate between learning stations if the use of technology and more traditional in-person instruction are practiced. Okay, that's the definition. Now, my big question is, why do I need to change my teaching methodologies? Why can't I just continue teaching in the familiar traditional way? Why do I need to make any changes? So as we all know, we're teaching in a new era. Our students have been through a very, very rough period. They've been in school, out of school, sick, in isolation, and there's been very little stability over the past 2 years. And I feel that we must reach out to our students and get them engaged. So for all of those reasons, I've started working with a methodology called station rotation in my classroom, in my junior high classes. And I am transforming my vertical lesson, my linear lesson, my frontal lesson where I do A, B, C, into learning stations, where the students are working at stations and moving as a block every 12 to 15 minutes. Okay, something about 15 minutes usually, from one station to the next. Now, each station has a different task based on the topic that they are currently learning in the classroom. So the stations are carefully built and planned in a manner that each student will in fact visit each station and experience the learning task there. Now, when I build these stations, I usually work with a colleague, and then we brainstorm together and we can get many different ideas than if I would have just worked by myself. So in fact, what I'm doing is I'm going horizontal and I'm taking my large class of 30 students and creating these smaller learning communities within the large class. And therefore, I'm creating also more opportunities for me to work with small groups of students. And it gives me an opportunity to support them and to ask them questions and to hear their questions and to create a natural environment where students can collaborate and ask each other questions. And I really believe that we need to give our students a platform which will enable them to work together, to collaborate, to produce work after joining forces with their peers, and working together throughout the lesson. And therefore, my lessons have become a lot less frontal and more hands-on. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. And I'm going to say why I teach this way. So first of all, I can adapt it to any level. It doesn't matter if I have a heterogeneous class, a homogeneous class, I can teach at any level in stations. I can take any topic. I can take an end of unit and I want to do revision. Each station will be based on something which I taught throughout the unit. It can be a grammar station rotation where one station is a worksheet and one station is speaking using the tense I have taught, and one station, I don't know, whatever you decide, each station can be based on a grammatical station rotation. I can incorporate traditional learning and remote learning. I can also do station rotation. I did it last year on Zoom. I created slideshows, and each slide was a station which the students had to complete within the 12 to 15 minutes, depending on what I gave them. In a station, we can have individual work, and we can also have group work, which I love. I love it when my students work together. I feel that, sorry?
1 minute.
1 minute, okay. And we can also have a teacher-led station. What I love about teacher-led station, I usually like to lead is a speaking activity, because I feel if I don't need it, they run off to Hebrew. And I can also have a team where students, like a Paratani station, that if they've missed school, I can have a station of students where I can put them next to me and help them complete material. So I want to quickly show you a station rotation. I'm not going to present the whole station rotation. This is what I prepared for one of my classes in the junior high. The topic was the Twin Tower disaster. As you can see, I put it on a slideshow and I projected it to my class. Here there are 6 stations. I usually do 5 stations. I added one extra to present, but it was like a 5-station rotation. One station was read a match, one was to watch a YouTube video and answer questions, one station was to act out with props, which I brought. There was a station which was to write a paper report, and a vocabulary station, and I added a poster station for those who like creative work. Now, you don't have to create all these stations. I want to say that some of the stations I actually take from textbooks and things which they have been created by smarter people than me.
That's it. You've reached your
That's
target.
it. Oh, yeah. So I wanted to just say that you must be organized and have clear written instructions for your students so that they'll be able to work and set off by themselves. And you'll receive this slideshow with lots of tips at the end, which you'll be able to read in your free time.
Okay, thank you very much. That's great and wonderful tips we can use. And now we're going to hear from Rebecca about storytelling. You need to unmute yourself, Rebecca.
I'm unmuted. Thank you. Hi, everybody. So 1 second. My name, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rebecca Zafrani. I am an English teacher and diplomacy teacher in Yavne. And what I'm going to teach you today about storytelling goes the opposite of high tech. I happen to think that because the kids are so inundated and have been so inundated.
You're just not on presentation mode. You have to.
Sorry, I will put it right now. Sorry. Right this second. There we go. So I think that we need to disconnect from our computers and from all our high tech Michigas, and stop for a minute and say, we have just spent the last 2.5 years using technology and computers. We need to go low tech. We need to reconnect with our inner knowledge and our inner selves and use English and become storytellers. And I do this both in junior high and in high school. Everything from Zion to Yud Bet. Everyone loves to tell stories. So why storytelling? Because in this world of high tech, the low tech skill of storytelling becomes even more important. Storytelling is one of the most ancient art forms. It is a bridge from one mind to another. It helps teachers, students, everyone express feelings and to help us see people's other different perspectives, other people's perspectives. In the beginning, there was storytelling before television, before the printing press, before even the written word. Even those of us who know about, Talmud and Quran and the New Testament, it was all stories until it was written down. Stories is one of the best ways to communicate and use our language. So it's the way also that our human brains remember, the way we understand, analyze the world around us. Everything from fairy tales to news stories, we see the world in stories. Stories are 22 times more memorable than facts and figures. So if you're to hear a fact and a figure, you're not going to remember it. But if you hear a story about it, you'll remember it. And we're all made of stories, the stories we were told and the stories we were never told. So what do stories do for us? They help us travel through time and space. They have an amazing, powerful effect on our brain. Stories can help us see a world that doesn't necessarily exist anymore. And stories speak to each other. You always want to answer a story with a story, right? Someone tells you something, you'll say, you're not going to believe it. The same thing happened to me. And you tell that person a story. So how do we get our students to tell stories? So there are tons of prompts out there. I mean, you can go on the internet and just write storytelling prompts or storytelling ideas, and you'll be overwhelmed. But I love this one. And I use this in my classes, and I tell you, I use it from Zion ad Yud Bet, from 7th to 12th grade. So everybody, we're going to say this together. You ready? Unmute your microphones, and we're all going to say this together. Ready? Everybody unmuted? 1, 2, 3. As I sat under the apple tree, all the apples fell on me. Apple pudding, apple pie, did you ever lie? You can all mute. Yafeh. It's much easier than in my classroom. So you get your students to learn this rhyme, which is a lot of fun. Right now I have a very cute picture. And at the end of the rhyme, one person in the group or in the class has to tell a story about something that happened to him or her. And it can be true, it can be false, it could never have happened, or it might have happened, but the people who listen to the story don't know which. And after they tell the story, everyone has to vote about whether they think it's true or not. And I have an amazing story. If anyone's interested, I'll tell you at another time. But nobody believes it's true, and it actually happened to me. And after the vote, the teller says whether the story was true or not. And the object of the game is to fool as many people as possible, either by telling an outlandish truth or a believable fiction. And this game is a great way to discover and share personal stories. So there are other prompts here. You can have them share a funny childhood memory about your siblings, tell about a birthday celebration, a positive experience, a story about your grandparents.
Half a minute.
Okay. And you can tell anything you want. And what is your earliest memory, something that happened on a birthday, etc. And storytelling is a fun way to help students learn about themselves, others, and the world around them. Thank you. Share stories. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rebecca. That was fantastic and gave some great ideas for encouraging speaking in the classroom.
And they'll have this, you'll have this, this is posted, the Yeah, so
All the
you can-
presentations are going to be made available to everyone
wonderful.
along
So
with the
please
recordings.
feel free to look at it and enjoy and tell stories.
Okay, so now we're going to hear from David about ensuring success for
Is it work-
challenged students.
I'm sorry, is it working?
Yep, it's working. Here you go.
Okay. Hi, my name is David Newman. I'm the English coordinator at Torah Medah in Kfar Saba. I specialize in working only with challenging students from 7th to 12th grade. This helped me to develop a unique remedial program that we've been using successfully at our school for a number of years that I want to share with you today. So let's begin. All right. First of all, the problem. The problem is that every year in our school, at least 25% of our incoming 7th graders require a remedial program for those students who have yet to succeed in learning English. Whoops. Okay. I remember the frustration dealing with challenging students. I remember feeling that I had to reinvent the wheel to teach them because there was no one to show me the way. I remember how much fun it was teaching frustrated students who simply loved learning English. I also remember being overwhelmed dealing with classroom management issues. All of this is what led me to develop our unique remedial program. The remainder of this presentation will address what the remedial program is and how it works. The solution, I call it the English Empowering System, or EES in short. So what is EES? It's a unique remedial program designed for junior high students, primarily incoming 7th graders who have yet to succeed in learning English. It helps students achieve the educational goal of achieving reading success with full comprehension and makes use of the entry point remedial workbooks, and it can also be used with other remedial books such as goals. Oops, all right, so how does it work? It's designed for a small class of up to 15 students. In step 1, students will translate a reading passage on their own in their native language using the entry point glossary. Step 2, teacher will test the students for 100% reading comprehension and give a grade using a unique reward system, which I will be sharing with you shortly. And step 3, the student will complete an entry point unit, which is basically on the average 4 pages. That's it. All right, this is an example of an entry point unit. On the left side, you have the emphasis on the CH phonetics. You have the vocabulary. On the right side, you have the reading passage, which is the student is required to translate on its own using the entry point glossary. Here you have an example of a mivdak, which is a 3-unit summary, which can be used as a quiz test, or what I use as part of the unique reward system, which I'll be sharing with you right now. All right. The key to the success of this entire program is based on a unique reward system. So how do I reward students for their achievements? Through successful reading comprehension, I will give them 1 shtira recorded on Mashov. By completing a unit, 1 shtira on Mashov. By earning a mark of 80 or above on the mivdak, I will give 1 shtira on the Mashov. If a student achieves 2 shtirot in a single or double lesson, I will then send a positive message to the parents, either SMS or WhatsApp, basically informing the parents, אני שמח לבשר שמשה הצטיין בלימוד אנגלית היום, כל הכבוד לו. You have no idea what receiving a positive messages does to the parents. It simply makes their day. Here I have several examples of messages that I've received from parents. The one I want to focus your attention on is the one in red, which I think is the most heartwarming of all the messages I've ever received. I'll give you a few seconds to quickly read it, and then we will continue. Okay, let's continue. All right. Basically, the unique reward system results in a win-win situation for students, parents, and the teacher. I have a unique grading system whereby I determine the grade based on the number of entry point units successfully completed by the students. This is the breakdown. What is the role of the teacher? The role of the teacher is that of a facilitator. It's responsibility of the teacher to make sure that all of his students are progressing at a minimum of 1 unit per week, and then to monitor their progress using a monitor page. The benefits of EES for the teacher, this you're going to love. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. No frontal teaching, no preparing quizzes or exams, pre-prepared lesson plans. I want to share with you very quickly an amazing story by the most amazing student I've ever had in all of my teaching years. His name is Shiloh. He came to our school in the 9th grade not knowing the alphabet. In 1 year, he completed successfully 3 of the entry point workbooks that normally takes a student 3 years to complete. He did it in 1 year. In the 10th grade, he was on a 4-point level. Last year, he succeeded successfully on a 5-point level. Amazing, unbelievable, and that's the magic of EES. I've also created for this program resources to be used. I use Quizlet. Using Quizlet, I prepared vocabulary study sets to reinforce vocabulary. It's available in my Google Classroom. I also recorded all passage, no problem, all of the reading passages of the entry point series, again, to help students with correct pronunciation and reading, also available in my Google Classroom. In short, to sum it all up, EES is an easy, effective system. It gets immediately results. It builds self-confidence, vocabulary, love of English, has a unique reward system. It's flexible, helps students to integrate into a regular class, helps students to succeed on the Bagrut. In short, EES equals happy, motivated students who love learning English. Now, if you would like me to help you set up this program in your school, no problem. That's me. I'm David Newman. That's my phone number, and that is my email address. Thank you.
Thank you, David, for that wonderful presentation and your ideas. And we're going to continue moving right along with Almogit, who's going to talk about individualized learning as well.
David, can you stop sharing, please?
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, let me just share my screen and set my timer so I'll be on point and we'll start. Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Almogit and I'm the English coordinator and a teacher. This whole class instruction doesn't work for me, and I would like to share with you an awesome alternative. So why do we need to move away from whole class instruction? First and foremost, the classes are extremely heterogeneous. Even if you have several classes of Hagbata Aleph, still within the classroom, there are multiple levels to be addressed. And proficiency is not the only factor that contributes to heterogeneity. Motivation, pace, emotional availability, all those and more are major players when it comes to heterogeneity in our classrooms. Second on the list of why I did the whole class instruction is the amount and volume of distractions the students have to manage during the lesson. Let's be honest, how long are we staying off our phones during ishtalmuyot, conventions, and regular staff meetings? For me, it's a real 21st century challenge. So it comes as no surprise when students are checking their stats on TikTok while I'm trying to explain what irony is. So teaching became more about class management for me and less about pedagogy and connection. Things needed to change. So I began researching. I joined international groups of teachers on Facebook. I read about Bandura and his social cognitive theory, and about Freire and his pedagogy of the oppressed. I mastered in technology integration, and most of all, I experimented a lot with all different sorts of models, ideas, and methods. When I came across the Modern Classroom Project, I knew I've hit the jackpot. It's a research-based model consisting of 3 principles. First, blended learning. Students access the material through teacher-created content, and all means and media are kosher as long as the instructional content, what we call haknaya, is on demand and not live. The second principle is self-pacing. Students control the pace of their learning. Yes, there are deadlines, but the days when the whole class did the same worksheet at the same time are over. The third principle is mastery-based grading. Students are required to demonstrate mastery if they want to progress within the unit. So in addition to the material proper that is learned, the students also get the opportunity to hone the skills of self-regulation, goal setting, self-management, and also group work and exploration, the same skills that the OECD recognizes as essential. What do we as teachers gain from all this? First of all, the time to mentor students as they work, the opportunity to cater to specific needs, and the ability to track each student's progress because we work with real-time data and we are able to design interventions if needed. How does it all put together? How do we put it all together? This is where technology steps in. First, you choose a platform that will be your base of operations, a platform that supports all the different media and tools you need. Google Slides and Genially are my go-to because they are available, free, and relatively simple to use. Then you upload your differentiated content, making sure that you include must-do assignments for all students and aspire to do assignments for the more advanced learner. And don't forget the mastery checks. Then you get to work. And from lesson to lesson, you tweak and you polish and you add, you remove. During the lesson, you help your students to reach their goal and push them a little bit further outside their comfort zone.
50 seconds.
Yes, thank you. I'll be the first to admit that it is no small feat. It is a paradigm shift, no less. It demands time to learn and time to modify your materials to fit in the model. It requires patience because some students and parents and staff will resist the change. And in general, forming habits takes time. Above all, you need the courage to fail because failure is as inevitable as it is important. As Samuel Beckett said, try again, fail better. So I invite you to take a leap of faith and have the courage to try this model out. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation and those great ideas. And really, it does take a big leap of faith to try some of those new things that you talked about. And last but not least, we have Carol Wolf presenting about alternatives in assessment. So please.
Hi, good evening, everybody. As said, my name is Carol Wolf. I'm a ninth grade student, and I'm a 74 average. I hope that describes exactly who I am, because that's what a lot of people want us to do. Look at the numbers. As a very famous, intelligent man said, everything that can be counted that does not necessarily count. Everything that counts cannot necessarily be counted. And this is so true. When you take a student who really has learning difficulties or whatever, and they really battle, and they cannot show their true potential because it is a summative assessment where they do not score well on. Some students just know how to play school. They do school. They don't have to do much. They just do tests and they succeed. So let's even out the playing field.
We can't hear you.
Carol, you're muted.
Yeah.
Carol, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay, unmuted. All right, so we need to level out the playing field. How, you may ask? By doing task-based alternative assessments that have real value, meaning that it's relevant for students and they can see a product in the end and it's something that they can be proud of. It will showcase students' strengths, and they are only reliable when you have quality procedures, you have rubrics that they follow, clear guidelines, and a continuous evaluation as they work along and reflective of what they can actually do. So in our school, we gave an alternative assessment and a high-stake test the previous semester. So this gave us our summative assessment of where students do the normal textbook test. And we gave students the opportunity to express and show exactly what they know for those who do not always succeed so well on a summative assessment. And what we did is we chose the same topic across the board for all classes, from extremely low level to advanced native speakers. Why? The same assessment gives them a sense of belonging, a oneness. You're not saying, okay, well, you from Ramai Gimel or you from the A level, you do different stuff. No, they all felt connected doing the same thing. All right. So we did 7th grade, we're introducing and interviewing, 8th grade, eating healthy, and 9th grade, an everyday hero. Those were our topics. So 7th grade, what they had to do, they had to write up questions of how to introduce themselves and how to interview. So we had a written assignment. They had to record themselves. We gave them rubrics to show them how they're being recorded. For the weaker students, we gave them extra scaffolding to help them. And on the day of the test, they had to go around school and interview somebody and record it on their phones. So they could interview a teacher or another student or whatever. So it was real hands-on, where they were using the language. And they had many different opportunities of doing this, recording themselves, recording each other, and speaking to a stranger. So that's a skill that we really taught them. In the 8th grade, we worked with sport, because we were having a run coming up. So the English side, we had to work on creating a healthy eating program. They learned vocabulary around it, a little bit about nutrition. They had to make a photo essay. They came into class, they compared and contrasted their meals, decided as a group collaboration, which are healthy meals, which are not healthy meals. They then wrote up a weekly plan. Some classes enjoyed a meal together, and we're putting together a recipe book where they will put their favorite healthy recipes in and sell it. The money will go to a charity. That is real relevant work for them. They see where their work is going.
Okay,
all right, in 9th grade, we had an everyday hero. We looked at different occupations where bravery and quick thinking were involved. We looked at the kind of training that some of them get. And then they were the TV crew. They had to write up a dialogue for a background story of an incident of some hero. They then had to interview each other and make up their version of the story. And then finally, they had to nominate a local hero, who they think is who's the local hero. The class then nominated which one was the local hero, and that local hero got a little diploma for being on our Walk of Fame. So that is basically what we did with the classes. I'll just show you quickly the Google.
Quickly, time's up. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just go into the link that's on there and everything is there for you. So on these slides, if you go to those things. So yeah, all right, success, fun for all, and they learned a lot. We could really see what students can do. And I challenge you, don't let that student feel like a 70 or a 60. Give them the opportunity to shine in areas that they can, level out their playing field. If you need any assistance, I'm here for you. Thanks.
Thank you so very, very much for that wonderful presentation and your great ideas about alternatives in assessment to ensure success for every student. I just put the link to the main stage. Now I did it in the chat, and you're welcome to return to the main stage till the rest of the conference, for the rest of the conference. And I'd like to thank Gabrielle, Rebecca, David, Almogit, and Carol for your wonderful presentations. Thank you so much.
Thanks.